Hello YouTube, in this video we're going to be playing, Minecraft on peaceful mode. Yeah, it's peaceful mode, so, you know. So, I just sorta, like, saw a video of, okay, wait. Basically, I saw, like, a video about, basically playing Minecraft on peaceful mode, just like no mobs and stuff. And yeah, that's basically it. Also, I'm gonna be playing, like with Max graphics. I think, I don't remember if I, already did it. Basically, I'm just gonna be playing on Max settings, so it's gonna be some, bro. Wait, did I already? No, that's crazy. Oh yeah, but basically I just like I made some stuff. So, so basically we got the stuff. So like the ultra settings and like stuff on and um but we're gonna be playing peaceful mode. So like build some stuff and make I mean accomplish goals or try to do goals. Since there's not really any mobs, they don't actually like have to really eat. Or, I don't know. But yeah, there's like less like danger like in this thing. Like look, I just I just like healed like 1 heart of health and like 2 seconds or something. Like it's just like, peaceful. It's called peaceful mode. It's called peaceful mode for a reason. Also, how am I even doing this? But basically, no hostile mobs. Only I mean, in like the person's video. Okay, wait, hold up. Hold up. Okay, wait. Oh my god. Okay. Yep. So in my Minecraft vlog videos, like those, we got like a decent, home. And I wanna, like make like a nice house, like maybe, I mean, I don't really wanna, beat the game. I'm pretty sure, like the guy in the video, like that I watched, said that, you can't beat the game or, something, or I don't know. Wait, actually, hey Google, could you beat Minecraft Bedrock on peaceful mode?
That sounds like a fun challenge. As an AI, I don't have the ability to physically play games like Minecraft,
Okay.
but I can certainly provide you all the information and strategies you'd need to beat the Bedrock version on peaceful mode yourself. Would you like me to walk you through the steps, like how to find the stronghold and defeat the Ender Dragon?
No.
Got it. Is there something else I can help you with around the house right now?
No. But yeah, I don't, like do my, like sort of research on, stuff. But yeah, basically, the guy said that you can beat the game or, something. And, I'm not really sure about, like some stuff, but, I don't really care. So I'm just not gonna beat the game. Not like I was gonna beat it, like normally in the first place anyway, but, so let's just, make a house, do stuff, Also pretty, yeah, since there's no hostile mobs, we could just axe, pickaxe, shovel, and, a hoe to, like, farm. We won't really, using that much of the time, but, it's good to have stuff. So, but, let's, get moving. Maybe find, like, like, good spot. Like, the guy in the video made, like, like a camp. Sounds like a decent idea, am I right? You know what, bro? I'm tripping. So don't mind my, coughing. you know, it's not that deep, but I'm pretty sure, you know, yeah, you don't even have to eat since, you know, you could just, you know, like sprint around it, you know, stuff. So, you know, yeah, I don't know if my frames are dropping or, you know, like what. I'm not sure. Okay, wait. You know what? Actually, you know, it's doing decent, I guess. You know what? The puff. Oh my. Dude, look at that water. You know, there might be some, you know, lag, but, you know, that's the point of, you know, actually playing on ultra settings. But, you know, it only happens with water, so, you know, it's not. You know, it is actually really nice though, but, you know, it doesn't really make that much lag. You know. Like, you know, you can see my character perfectly fine, am I right? So, you know, actually, I don't think there's, you know, like, lag or, like that much lag. So, you know. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But, you know, we're just gonna be doing, like, you know, a little bit of exploring. So, you know, I'm gonna have, wait, let me do something. You know, I'm sorry for the interruption. I just, you know, I forgot to do something. But, you know. But, you know, let me just, you know, like, explain why I'm trying to do that. So, you know, basically, peaceful mode is, like, you know, basically about, like, exploring and, you know, like, stuff. So, you know, we're gonna do some of that. So, you know, not really, like, sort of, you know, good at, you know, like, building and, you know, stuff. But, I mean, like, is it really that, you know, deep, though? But, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, do some stuff. Okay. But, you know, I'm gonna try to, you know, do some stuff. Like, keep on saying, you know, but who really cares? Yeah. But, you know, okay, yeah, I'm done. But, you know what, I'm gonna find a, like, you know, sort of, like, good spot to, you know, like, make my house. So look at the legit, you know, look at this dog. You know what, W stuff. I want to park on some trees, yo. Yo, should I, you know, okay, wait. You know, I'm gonna stay in my, you know, like, you know, a spruce place. You know, I'm just gonna, you know, also take this, you know, decoration. You know, try to be a little bit fancy with it. But, you know, it is, you know, oh, wait. Yo, should I make a, you know, can I make a beach house? You know what? You know what? Hear me out. So you wanna know my plan, yeah? So, you know, maybe, leg with the water, but, you know, it's not that deep. So, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to make a, masterpiece. But look at the water. But, you know what? Basically, you know, I'm gonna make, ooh, it's like, you know, wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got, you know, like a lot of stuff. So, basically, you know, like a house, you know, like on the, like, shore, you know, something, whatever it's called. You know, like a bridge to over there, to, you know, like there, you know, like a staircase, and then, you know, into the forest. So, you know, also, we could make some, like, you know, like paths, like, you know, like go around onto the, like, sort of, you know, island thing, and, you know. Also, you know, I might get ahead, bit ahead of myself, but, you know, it's good to plan, am I right? But, you know, have dreams, so, you know, still little bit of stuff, because, you know, we only have 19 playing, so, you know, let's just make a, like, a, you know, sort of, so the good thing about, you know, Peaceful World is that there's no hostile mobs. You know, I'm pretty sure y'all already know that, but, you know, we don't actually have to sleep, so, you know, you could actually, like, you know, do stuff, and, you know, pretty good. You know what? Yeah, you know, that's pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3. You know what? Nah. Oh yeah. Okay, you know what? This is, actually. So, yo, you could, like, hear what I'm planning, right? So, okay, just imagine this, okay? So, house, like, staircase, there. Bridge across the water. And then, like, that's that. And then, like, stuff, like, here. Y'all hear me. But, we're gonna have to get some, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Actually, I'm gonna have to, like, switch out the wood for, like, oak, but I just, have to make it an outline. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just made floating doors, yo. That's dope. I didn't even know doors could float, pretty good stuff. It's already, like, sunsetting. Also, look at that shadow. Look at that. You know what? It's, okay, W stuff, though. I do like, like the shadows. I do like the shadows, like, I think. I like how they, like, like, instantly disappear, like, as you, break them. But, look at this, like, real stuff there. Like, bruh. I mean, I can still, I can't remember. Okay, my fault. I just, had to get the tools. So. My fault. I'm living underwater, yo. It's, the fish need a little bit of wood. Okay, yeah. Hopefully they'll despawn. Anyway, I'm gonna get, like, get some wood. Just get, like, a stack or something. Okay, I'm just kidding about the stack thing, but, we ball. Yo. Nah, I'm off. We got 16 already. Pretty good. Not my fault. And, we should keep on working since, there's not even gonna be any mobs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, like, get used to, like, like, both situations. Wait, I'm gonna be, like, doing the peaceful, peaceful mode Minecraft, series thing. I don't even care. I'm gonna do this for a while. Just make videos about this. It's pretty relaxing, actually. Just, chopping trees down, exploring, and, making builds. Even though I'm bad at building, it's just proud to, like, have that, like, sort of feeling of satisfaction after you make something. You just get sort of proud of it, But, you know what, this is pretty fun, pretty fun, I'd say. I mean, not, fun, like, fun, but, it's actually pretty good. You know what, 46 wood is, pretty good. Wait, 47, pretty okay. You know what? Yeah, 48. Let's go with that. And then, we could, like, just keep on, doing that. I'm just gonna, like, make the, like, actually, like, actual, like, a box up to my house. Like, the stuff, I don't even know. But, I just, the wood has floated to the top of the, water, so, Good for the fish, dog. Good for the fish. We got 2 soap. You know, we got 2 saplings and, you know, an apple, so, you know, that's cool. Huh. You know, I did get a stack. Yo, what do y'all think of the, you know, like tracks on, you know, Minecraft? What do y'all think of it? I just wanna, you know, I don't even get comments. Nah, you know what? Who cares? What do y'all think of the, you know, like, sort of like, you know, like, the, you know, like tracks of Minecraft? You know, what are y'all like, you know, like your actual opinion? You know, I just wanna hear it. If, you know, I do, you know, like actually get comments and, you know, just, I guess, you know, people trying to talk to you, but, you know, it's not that deep. But, you know what? This is actually, you know, pretty relaxing, I'd say. But, you know, I mentioned this as, like, you know, free. You know what? Here. 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You know what? That does fit perfectly. Not gonna lie. You know what do you think of the, you know, like oak and then, you know, like the, you know, switch doors? You know what? Should I make the? You know, let's just, you know, keep it that way for now. You know, I'm just still trying to make the house. You know, so okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, you know what? Let's just go with, you know, like 3, 6. You know, okay, 8. So you know. So 1, 6, 7. 8, 9. You know what? It looks decent to me. Oh, you know what? I should probably, you know, just renovate later. Who cares, really? Anybody? Yeah. Also, you know what? I've actually, you know, gotten better at, you know, shutting stuff. You know, I won't fall on, like, at all. You know, I mean, you know, maybe, but, you know, not that deep. Have you ever played peaceful mode? Just, you know, wanna, you know, I mean, I'm just talking to viewers, you know. My last, you know, like, my last, Minecraft vlog video only got, you know, 1 view, but, you know, 1 viewer is still 1 viewer. At least somebody watched it, am I right? You know, even if it's like, you know, like, just 1 person, you know, that's still 1 person that could have liked that video. Not, you know, like, literally liked, but, like, you know, like, people. I think it's weird, you know, it's just getting kind of deep. You know, like, I'm just talking. Yeah, I'm just, like, talking about, you know, like, sort of stuff. You know, this is actually kind of enjoyable, and I like this. Just enjoyable. You know, actually, we did get a lot of wood. You know, this is, like, more than enough, I can say. You know, you're gonna make this, like, logs or something. You know, we do a little bit of simple, wait. You know, do we even need a roof? You know, who even cares about? I mean, you know, I could, you know, just make the house and then, you know, could just, like, leave. You know, just, like, you know, a place of our necessities. I'm gonna put, like, you know, like, 2 logs there, you know, like, you know, you'll see it. Missed one, but, you know, we drew a little bit of missed one. Yup. Yeah, you know, it's actually pretty good. But, you know, okay, look, y'all, look, you know, it actually lights the place, look. You know, look, the, you know, gap, you know, there's moonlight, and, you know, that's, you know, enough light. You know, oh, wait. You know, it might be because of that. You know, who cares? You know, actually, this is, you know, pretty nice, so, you know. 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you know, 13, so 13. You know, we do a little bit of bowling, am I right? You know, oh wait, I missed a block. You know what? Wait, hey. My fault. You know, actually, we could, you know, use these like, you know, like sort of send things like, as, you know, windows. So, you know, we can actually, you know, like leave, you know, like gas here. So, you know, just like windows, but you know, slightly worse. You know, just nothing up the, you know, cover, but you know, at least you can still interact with the road. I'd say, you know, pretty good house so far. You know, like, I mean, you know, it may only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks wide, but you know, it still is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks, you know, this way. So, you know, this way. Okay, you know what? This is actually looking pretty good. You know, so, you know, like, I mean, you know, okay, so bed, you know, campfire, you know, smoker, blast furnace, you know, furnace, and, oh, you know what? Actually, just move that. Yeah, okay, you know what? You know, this is actually, you know, pretty good. Going pretty good. You know, we already got the, you know, like stand for windows and, you know, stuff. So, you know, pretty good. You know, let's just, you know, go for it. So, you know, we only need, you know, like 6, you know, stand for it, you know, the stuff. Wait, you know, you know, I gotta, you know, I keep on saying, you know, okay, but, you know, that's pretty good. 3, 4, 5, 6, so, you know, gotta put the wood. Bing, bop, boom, bam, ping, bam. You know, we do a little bit of balling. We ball. You know, let's just keep it. You know, from my window. You know, stuff. You know, we don't even need this apple. But, you know, let's just, you know, like, get some, sand, and then we could, like, did I just say sand? Let's just get some, you know, like, stone, and then, you know, we could, like, you know, okay, but then we could, like, sort of, you know, upgrade our tools, and, you know, we could do a little bit of renovation for the house, you know? Very good. But, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. Good focus on our, you know, building. Oh, look at the turtle! He's so cute. The turtles are so cute. Why are the turtles so cute? Okay, but, you know, W Mojang, you know, this is, like, actually, you know, dope, so, hey, we out, but, you know, actually, the turtles are pretty cute, you know, I can say that, but, you know, free sticks, let's go, free sticks, you know, it's free sticks or free sticks, you know what, you know, for the environment, you know what, let's help the environment. You know, I'm gonna grow a tree instead of a tree, or you know what? Okay, you know, oak and birch. You know, would that go together? You know, I don't even know. I don't care at this point, but you know, we're gonna get a little bit, you know, more wood. So, you know, we already just we gotta, you know, just get the stone and stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Ha, almost got me. But you know, we're gonna make an error to the, you know. Actually, you know, okay, yeah, actually, it doesn't actually matter right now. Actually, just give me a sec. Boom. You know, we got some stone now, and now we just gotta, you know, mine it. So, you know, let's get mining. You know, get at least like, you know, like, yeah, like some, I don't even know. But you know what? This is actually, pretty good. Boom. We already got, 18, so, pretty good. We got a decent amount. I want to make my house out of, wood instead of, like cobblestone, like, in the other world, for the Minecraft logs, that stuff. But, it's pretty nice though. But, yeah. And you know what? That's a good amount of, stones. So, let's get out of here. I messed up. You know what? Yeah, let's just, fix it. You know what? Yeah, we are. I don't want to hear that sound effect ever again in my life. You know what? Yeah. Better. Some things are better undone. Yeah. We are so out. But you know what? The baby turtles are pretty cute. I could say that. I don't even care at this point. But you know what? Water is pretty nice. That's dope. So, we're gonna do the thing. The deed. Poem. Pam. We got a little bit of looks, but, we maybe could, like, put some birch here. And, like, strip it. So, that would be dope, actually. But, we won't. Poem. The first ever, placed thing in my house. So, dope. Actually, we do. Okay, we gotta make an axe first. So, most important thing right there. Let's go. I mean, who really needs to upgrade their hull? Like, doesn't really matter. But, it is pretty dope. Oh, well, yeah, that's actually pretty good, by the way. Little, compact type of house, pretty good, so. Smoke. Okay, campfire smoker. Smoker what? I don't even cut. Yeah, okay, wait. You know what? Crafting table. Furnace. Campfire. And then, nothing there, so. Yeah, let's just deal with it. You know what? Yeah. Yeah. I'm stuck. Yeah, okay, but you know what? Who really cares about? So, we're gonna, like, get some more wood. Collect some more wood. So we're gonna get some birch and then, get some oak. So, like, we can make the floor wood. Then, we can do the thing I said about, like the birch thing. We do it. Actually, I am, doing pretty good so far. So, that's that. So, we're gonna boom, then bam. We do a little bit of balling. I bet. You know what? I don't even know how to set this for. I keep. But yeah, nah, I don't. Okay, but well, let's get the birch first, and then we can, get the oak. So, I don't really. I'm keeping my like 2 trees at best. Yeah, that's good. Since they are a little bit taller than some oak trees, so I don't think I think it's gonna give enough wood. Like 13 wood. Okay, what? 1 tree. Yeah, that's good. That's good enough. And then now we're gonna get the oak. So good for me. Good for you though. And gotta. I have to actually forget. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But oh, a dog? Nah, if only had bones. I don't even know if you could get dogs. Yeah, okay. Cause like skeletons can't, spawn, so you can't, get bones. So, I don't even know. I can't even think of like another way to get bones. Like, my brain is small. Not literally, but you get what I mean, dude. Only, what? That's not even good about it. But let's just make it, decent house, and then we keep going and explore, yeah. So also plus we get materials on the way, so just like body structure, tear it down, or something like that, I guess. It's really not that deep. So you don't really have to think about it. Just go on your way and do it as you go. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but it's fun. Just talking to you guys. Even though I'm talking to myself technically, but it's. But okay, yeah. I mean, it's actually kind of relaxing, but I do like the sort of like idea of the bridge thing. So just what? Let's do the bridge. Let's try to do the bridge, and then do the inside. But who really cares at this point? I'm not even planning out. So good for me. You know what, man? Just disintegrated that. You know what? Dude, it's already like, sunset for that. Dude, oh my god. Dude, gate? I just said, okay. Days go pretty fast, not gonna lie. But, dude, like, actually, though, that was so fast. I'm not even gonna lie to you, dude. It's like, even like 5 minutes. I don't know. I lose track of time, but, I don't even know how long I'm recording. I don't even, okay, but, yeah. I'm just, sort of surprised that, oh, look at that. That's actually, pretty good, so. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I actually really like this look, yeah. So, let's just keep on doing that, and, pretty good. Oh, You know what? Let's go and, go on a, like, side quest or something, just, gonna do something else here, so. Dude, we already have a stack of wood already, and, that's like barely any. We do a little bit of balling, 64 and 46. We do a little bit of balling, so, just, thing. But, what, let me cook. You know what, bro? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do the bridge, so, what? 1, 2. Boom, bam, bing, boom. Boom, bam, bing. Ha! Here. You know what? Yeah, I think it's gonna go pretty good. I didn't even mean to put this in. You know what, bro? I'm tripping. You know what? I keep. I feel like like we'll be able to like do something. Dude, that music scared me, but it is. It's pretty relaxing actually, but you know what I mean. Y'all, if you guys jump scared, then my fault. It's not even. They can see my fault, but it's not okay. But if you got jump scared from the music, then that's not really my fault. It's the game, so blame the game, not the player. You. So it's yo, this is some W piano right here. Oh my god. Let's just, build in the water. actually, we are almost there. So, you know, just gonna finish this from there. And then, you know, we'll have it complete. You know, it won't look that good, but, you know, that's for later, you know. Just enjoy it. You know, this is actually looking pretty good. Okay, look at this. You know what? Okay. You know, you never, like, you know, like, really know how good something is really gonna, you know, feel in the end until you actually, you know, do it. Because, you know, I made this house by myself, you know? You know, this is the reason it looks like this way. That was me, my choices. I was the one that made this bridge. And then I could accomplish my goals. And feel proud about it. It's like a mirror. This is low-key. I like this. You know, just like there's no mobs. You know, you don't have to. You know, worry about dangerous. Like, you know, like it just goes your way. You know, like, you know, so like you start and then, you know, like there's no mobs. Then, you know, you get your stuff and then, you know, you can like build and explore and do whatever you want eventually. You know what I mean? So, you know, 26 right there. You know, okay, so 27. You know, can make so, you know, 2 times 27. I don't really care. You know, okay. Like 40 something I said. You know, who really? You know, 48 sounds good. 1. You know, block left, so, you know, it ain't good for me. Oh, okay, I thought, you know what, yeah, actually, you know, I should have made this out of, you know, like, slats, actually, but, you know, in the end, who really cares at this point? Wait, you know what, how do you know what? You know, sort of, you know, like, leave the slats, and then, you know, just, like, sort of, let them. You know what, actually, this is pretty good tech right here, you know? You know, I'm a genius! Let's go! Then, you know, he's gonna sort of break it, so... You know, it's pretty good, so... My life is good, though. It's like a smear. Why am I low-key vibing, though? Low-key, I just like the, you know, music. Just, like, calming, you know? Just, you know, just... helps me. You know, it's like a me why is like, you know, this like just like turned into like, you know, like a video playing Minecraft on, you know, peaceful mode, and then, you know, just like talking, you know, just, you know, it's just kind of, you know, deep. If this doesn't work, then, you know, I'm gonna trip. I'm tripping, bro. I'm tripping. You know what? That does look pretty good. You know what? I'm a mastermind. I'm genuinely a mastermind. A mega mind, bro. Mega mind. You know what? Yeah. I actually like this. You know what? You can't tell me this is. Yeah. Oh wait. You know what? You know, do the slot thing, and then you can, you know, put fences. Oh. You know what? Okay. I'm learning as I go. You know, just like, you know, like going for it. You know, that's actually pretty, you know, like good actually. You know, like I'm just like, you know, like learning how to build as I, you know, go. Not from a tutorial, but, you know, like my own creativity. Like, you know, this maybe this like there's a chance that, you know, somebody could have already, made something like this on YouTube, and, like, somebody could have made a tutorial on, how to do something like this on, YouTube as a tutorial, but really, it was from my creativity, and I didn't need one, just like my own, like my own creativity, right? You just don't really learn from somebody else. You learn using your own, like choices. Like your own stuff, like like your own thought process, your own, like your sense, and really, it's pride giving. Like I don't know, but who really cares at this point? And it's still pretty enjoyable. So just. Oh, what? It's turning into, morning. And surprisingly, that was actually pretty enjoyable. Sort of deep talk. Oh, by one? I'm like that. I'm sidekick, bro. You know what? Yeah, I do need that kit. Yeah, okay, bro. Oh, yeah, okay, dude. You know what? Yeah, let's just do this. I don't even know what I'm, doing. There could be a better way to do this, but, really, it's my thought process, and, I don't know. It's just, like, my choices, and, that stuff, so. But, I don't think I have enough to, actually complete this, but, we also, oh, wait, actually, I do. So, actually, I still have, 22, planks, so, I could still finish it, just, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you know what? Yeah, that's good. You know what? This is actually pretty enjoyable. So, you know what? That's a W. W. You know what? I'm pretty much enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Not gonna lie. You know what? What do you think of this? Like, just imagine. Okay. I'm just, just. Okay. What? A good thing about, like this type of game, like Minecraft, is that, you could like, just like use your imagination, and nobody will really, like seriously judge you, it's like your own, like, like space, like make your own, like, creations, no matter how, like complicated or, like simple, or like how, like big, or how, like nice it looks. Really, it's just like your own space. I don't know, but okay, but it's good, but it's pretty nice. But you know what? You could just, you could just imagine it. So we got our house, then we got the bridge. So the only thing we need really is, to like put the appliances and, just like make this wood. And then, that's really it. We don't have to do anything else, but, we could expand it and, like add trails and, I honestly should have made my, like house and like, like a plains, like a place where that's like, like actually different. They can make it to, like path blocks and look better in its own area, but, really, you should just make your own path by making like, by like using, like cobblestone or something like that. Like, I don't know, but, nah. But, anyway, I'm gonna make, fence. So, I'm just gonna use all my, wood on that. Oh. I don't even know what okay, fence. What? Huh? Oh, oh yeah, it was because I need sticks, so. I just sort of wasted them. Okay, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Okay, bro, I'm tripping. Oh yeah, you know what? We could use, wait, actually we could use the, let's just, we could use different types of wood to make sticks. You know what? W's. We got sticks and, we needed wood, so. Yeah, I'm tripping, dog. But, we got, 9 fence, so. I'm sort of yapping, but you know, it really doesn't matter. Like, you know, it's you that click on this video, so. So, you know, our axe is cooked, absolutely cooked, but you know, so, you know what? Yeah, let's just, you know, get to the stuff. Gotta go on a little, you know, grind to do these sort of, you know, yeah, we're gonna have to like go on a, you know, sort of type of grind to, you know, get the wood, but, you know, it's fun. Yeah. You know, I don't even know how much wood I need actually. You know, okay, so one, you know, okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You know what? Okay. Hey Google, does free go into 23 in multiples?
No, 3 does not go to 23 even. 3 goes into 23 7 times with a remainder of 2. So 23 divided by 3 is 7 with a remainder of 2.
Huh? Okay, you know, I don't know what Google's talking about, but you know, it doesn't go into 23. So you know what? Just make more than 23. You know, not less, not exact, a little bit more. That's, you know, you never know. Okay, I'm yapping. Okay, but you know, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but you never know. But you know, who really cares? I'm just talking. You know, just enjoying it. But you know, it's enjoyable, really. Did I just hear? You know, I think I heard a wandering villager. I mean, running wandering trader. You know, I don't even know, but you know, I think I heard a villager. I don't know actually, but you know, if there is, and you know, I don't have a single emerald to my name, so you know, I can maybe trade something for some. You know, I don't even know at this point, but you know, it's not that big. No, you know, okay, I ran out of, you know, my, oh yeah, my axe ran out of durability, I forgot about that. But, you know, it's, let me just, you know, like, stop talking for a bit, so y'all could, you know, sort of enjoy this, but the trees go together. Okay, yeah, I'm back. You know, it's, you know, I didn't really, you know, not talk for that long, but, you know, it's not that deep, so, you know, does it really matter, or does it not? Like, I'm yapping, but, you know, who really cares? Dude, oh my god. You know, damn! You know, I'm stacked. Damn! Damn! Dude, you know, 4 stacks and 5 oak planks and 64 in a stack and 2 stacks. Oh, I'm Mr. Beast at this point, dog. Oh my god. You know what? I'm like that. I'm like that. You know what? Just, you know, sort of get. Oh yeah, 27, but you know, I guess you're like 40 something. Okay, so you know, we're gonna clear our. You know, we're gonna like. Oh yeah, so you know, we're gonna do the. Okay, so let me just, you know, try to like lay everything out. So you know, we're gonna do the floor for our, you know, house. We're gonna try to find coal to, you know, do windows, and then we're gonna finish our, you know, sort of bridge. So you know, just think about that. You know, pretty good. Oh, that's, you know, like hard stuff. So you know what I just found? I found some stuff. You know what, who even cares? Boom, pan, pink. Oh yeah! You know what? Yeah, I like this. You know what? It's beautiful. Just you know, yeah. You can't tell me that. Oh, just my god, it's nice, dude. You know what? I'm tripping. But okay. I'm just sort of, you know, yapping, but yeah. You know who? Yeah. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, you know what? Okay, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You know what? We're a little bit. You know, actually, we got more than enough. By, you know, 5, but really, it's, you know, still pretty good. You know, just doing the fact. I mean, you know what? The only mobs that we, like, you know, the only neutral mob that we're gonna have to kill is, you know, like, do my throat, but the only, you know, like, mob, like, you know, like, non-hostile mob that we're not gonna have to kill is, you know, just like the sheep. Because, you know, like, we need, you know, like, the wool to, like, make a bed and everything. You know, like, you know, it's not really that deep, but, you know, at the same time, it is that deep. But, you know, let's get them making, you know. So, you know, gonna make, ooh, that's a lot of fence. You know what, 33. I clicked, you know, a little bit too much. 27 was enough. I, you know, saw the number right there, but, you know, who really cares? It's just use these fences, dude. Go, dude. Dude. You know what, dude? You know what? Yeah, that's not even that bad. Say what? No, that wasn't even that wasn't even enough. Nah, that wasn't enough. You know, that's diabolical. You know what? Yeah, 15 does good. You know, we ball. We do a little bit of, You know, we just sort of eyeball it. You know, we do a little bit of wasting, but you know, who really cares? You know, so. You know, I don't even. So, you know, and then we're gonna get coal and, you know, stuff. So really. You know, you take that. You know, who even cares, but yeah, not me. I mean, actually, I do, but. You know what? It's looking pretty good from here, you know. You know what? Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's just take that. Whew. So, you know, our hot bars is, not okay, but our hot bar is, you know, lacking. But you know, it's just I really want to go, you know, mining for coal to, you know, get torches since, you know, do you really want to be, you know, like in darkness? Cause like, you know, I mean, you know, the vibrant like visual or something is on. So, you know, I mean, the light is gonna look good too. So, I mean, we have 34 sticks. Might as well make the best out of it. Am I right? So, you know, let's go looking. Plus, it's not even any mobs, so you know, pretty good. And you know what? Let's just, you know, go into the forest. Since, you know, we could. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you know, the only things I can think of you dying from is, you know, like, lava, you know, like, suffocating, or, you know, I don't even know about suffocating, but, you know, maybe suffocating, like, you know, I'm tripping, bro, but, you know, I'm just gonna get some coal, so, really, you know what, let's just look at the water. I'm under the water, glub, yeah. Please help me. You know what? Yeah, okay. But you know, you could breathe underwater. You know, oh my! Look at that regeneration! Oh my god! You know what? Yeah, that's pretty good. I can say. You know, actually, this is pretty good. Dude, look at this. You know, like a light, dude. Look at that. You know, pretty oh, very good. Ooh, so good. You know what? I don't even know where to go with this. You know, just like, you know what? Really, doesn't matter. You know what? The way really. I mean, you know, peaceful mode is just, you know, Minecraft, but you know, with less stuff to die from. So, you know, really, that. I mean, you know, I don't have keep inventory on, so yeah, you know, if I were to die, then, you know, I would lose all my stuff. So, you know, if I get lost from home, then you know, I'm cooked. Like I am extremely cooked. So, you know, that's it. But yeah, we got pumpkins, boys. We got pumpkins. So, you know, we could take these and, you know, oh yeah, we could use these for a light source, you know? I mean, you know, we could, like, if we get torches, then we can make these into, you know, jack-o'-lanterns, so, you know, that's actually pretty nice too, but, you know, I'd probably use the torches as they are in the first place, so, you know, maybe, no, I don't know, but, yeah, just, quick thought, you know, just, not really paying attention, but, at the same time, does anybody really care that, you know, I'm just, like, going on and on? Like, you know,